Goodness to you. And I say goodness because I don't know whether you're watching morning, afternoon, or evening. But isn't it great to have good in front of your salutation? I'm Sporty King. Welcome to Gift Friday. I created it because so often we hear TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But I say, what allure does Friday have to the person who took their last breath on Thursday? Or any day before that, for that matter. So I use what I've learned through Psalm 92 and 2. It is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your faithfulness in the evening. Therefore, instead of saying TGIF, I use TGIT. Thank God it's today. And then TGIT, thank God it's tonight. Thus, I add the lesson that I learned in Matthew 6 and 34, and that is, so don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Thank God it's tomorrow. It's tonight. And then it goes on to say, today's troubles are enough for today. Thank God it's today. So I first remind you that we have another option of how we can look at TGIF, and that is trusting God is free. Think about it. What does it cost to be blessed with the greatest gift of the day, waking up? It doesn't cost you a dime. And that still moves us into realizing that when we move the T and TGIF from the front to the end, we get what we should really be thanking God for on a regular basis, and that is today. You see, GIFT, God is for today. And Gift Friday is what we're all about. This broadcast, I'm going to share one of my original poems, my poetic messages, and then tell you how to use it or help you use it to share and start a conversation that could change someone else's life for the better, including yours. Each poem will then be my gift to you. If you'd like a free keepsake colorful copy of the poem, if you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, I ask you to email me at sporty@sportyking.com, and I'll repeat that at the end. If you're watching on YouTube or on my website, you can just put your request in the thread. The reason I ask you to email me if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn is because that way I will be replying to you and gets through any kind of security that you may have on your computer or firewall. So don't just drop it in the thread if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn. Please email me at sporty@sportyking.com. And again, I'll repeat that. Meanwhile, today's gift is from my book, I Found Out I'm Living, an affirmation of life. Here's the intro to the book. In 1995, I wrote, I Found Out I'm Dying, a celebration of life. It's amazing how many people miss the subtitle, ultimately missing the message. After writing that book, I began a wonderful journey and test of my faith. The challenge of marketing a speaking career based on the use of poetry took me on a roller coaster ride of fear and joy. It was during that ride that I grew and came to the realization of my deep belief in God and in myself. And you see, that ride took me through chapter 13 and 7 bankruptcies. Not 7 bankruptcies, chapter 13 and chapter 7 bankruptcies, foreclosure on my house, automotive repossession, used car flashbacks, real estate and income tax troubles. And I mention this up front because I won't spend time discussing it throughout the book. You see, these twists and turns and drops on the ride reminded me of just how wonderful this gift of life is. They reminded me of just how alive I am, and that what we must all recognize and remember that what we most enjoy about the roller coaster ride is the drop. Sometimes the steeper the better. Now, one roller coaster ride, and that's the introduction to the book. But now, one roller coaster ride we've been riding pretty frequently is that of racism. Yet, as I've posted in the past, I believe we need to take the race out of racism to have conversations that lead to solutions more so than conversations. Because our individual color is really not the problem. The problem in racism is the ISM, the ignorance, the stupidity, and the madness. Well, you may ask, aren't they all the same? In many ways they are, especially when they pile up and rotate to insecurity, senselessness, and misery. Looking for company. I wrote Today's Gift actually in 1998 and have gleefully shared it in many Black History Month celebrations. And now I share it to show you how race isn't the culprit. In the book, the poem is introduced this way. Do you realize that negative people don't want to be around positive people? Sometimes we look at it from the other end of the deal. But think about how your smile just gets on a negative person's nerves, like their frown can get on yours. Stay positive to keep the negative people away. This poem is about Rosa Parks, who knew not to listen to negative people. It's called Holy Rosa. Didn't we mention that the bus was only the beginning? For this moment meant much more than a ride. The strength in this woman was her obedience, yet her spirit was motivated by her pride. Pride made a comment to wisdom, asked it how necessary was it to lay low. Wisdom was no fool. It said, I'll go with you. Just promise me that you'll take it slow. So they worked their way to the front of the bus, these two, pride and wisdom. They made no pause as others watched and warned. And as they sank into that seat, that moment became everlasting, for never had authority been so scorned. Fitting that her name was Rosa, for she rose above the pain that held so many back. The pain that says slavery is mental, and its favorite color never has been black. Slavery's favorite color has always been ignorance. Ignorance somehow continues to erase love. As you take your ride in this lifetime, be smart. Make sure that the driver of your bus is up above. Holy Rosa. Is the driver of your bus up above? And do you know his name? I once posted the scene from the 10 Commandments and made the joke of calling Moses Charleston Heston, which is probably whose face comes to mind every time you hear Moses' name. Yet the first time that God actually or supposedly revealed himself to Moses, his name to Moses as his name was Yahweh, Y-A-H-W-E-H, but as 4 Hebrew consonants, Y-H-W-H. Now, although Christian scholars after the Renaissance and Reformation periods used the term Jehovah for Y-H-W-H, Yahweh, in the 19th and 20th centuries, biblical scholars again began to use the form Yahweh, Y-A-H-W-E-H. And I highlight that research because biblical scholars and followers have many names for God. Yet what they all agree on is how powerful he is and how you can only reach him according to your faith. Ignorance, stupidity, madness, insecurity, senselessness, and misery belong to negative people. And their goal is to erode your truth and your faith. As you take your ride in this lifetime, be smart. make sure the driver of your bus is up above. Enjoy your gift and think about how you can share it. Remember, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn and you'd like a copy of the poem, email me at sporty@sportyking.com. If you're on YouTube or on my website, you can just drop your request in the thread. Remember, GIFT. God is for today. Gift Friday is a great way to share and spread love. Thank you, be safe, and have a safe Valentine's weekend as well. Ciao.